Hey honest traders, I know you all know what margin is, but have you ever wondered how they determine what the buying power reduction for your margin is? This is something that I wasn't really clear on for a long time, and it's actually regulated by the Federal Reserve Board as well as some other regulatory bodies. Basically, there are three equations that get used, and your broker will pick the result that is the highest. In this case with Apple, buying one contract at $3.60, resulting in $360 in premium, it costs about $3,000. Now assuming you have a $10,000 account, that's a 6% hit to your buying power. So where do these numbers come from? For the first one, basically it takes 20% of the underlying, and then it adds the premium, and then it subtracts the difference between the strike and the current underlying stock price. And so what that means is if Apple, for example, doubles in price for premium, the result is we get an increase of over $300 in our buying power reduction, meaning we owe that much more money to the broker. And if all of your positions go up in price like that, then you can quickly reach what's called a margin call. And basically a margin call is where you've exceeded your buying power and the broker will come knocking and saying, hey, you owe us money. You have to close out your positions, or you have to add more money, or, and this is what you don't want to do, is let the broker deal with it. And they will definitely deal with it in a way that you don't want. So this is Apple. And while I have it up here, remember that the value here is $360 for one contract at $3.60. Let's take a look at a couple more. Target, in this example, has a value of $324 in premium. But in order to get there, I had to sell two contracts for $1.62. However, you'll notice that the buying power reduction is just shy of 5%, which is a little bit better than Apple at 6%. Let's take a look at another one. This is Cardinal Health. Its current value is $320, so it's comparable, but I had to sell four contracts at 80 cents in order to do this, and that takes a hit of 8%. This is not a good deal if we're comparing the three of them together. The important thing to notice is that your buying power is impacted by the number of contracts you have and by the premium. For completeness, let's take a look if we sold all three of those positions. And you'll notice that in this case, on a $10,000 account, that is 18%, almost 19% of your buying power is used up just on those three positions. So you have to be frugal with your buying power. You just can't use it willy-nilly. Just because you get a lot of leverage out of having a margin account doesn't mean you should be using it all to the max. In fact, that's the worst thing to do, because at some point, as the premiums increase, so does your buying power reduction. And as your buying power reduces, you are more likely to get a margin call. A good rule of thumb is to not use more than 50% of your buying power. In this case, it would be $25,000. Now, that won't necessarily give you a lot of room for smaller accounts especially, but over time it will grow, and you'll be grateful for it if the market takes a turn for the worse and you don't get a margin call. The two big takeaways really are, one, that your margin buying reduction power changes and fluctuates over time, and it's especially dangerous if the premiums go up. And two, you have to look at the impact of the sizing of your position on your total buying power reduction. So thanks for joining me today, and I hope you never get a margin call, honestly.